The glittering facade of modern royalty often masks a complex web of financial survival, unspoken arrangements, and deep institutional shadows that the public rarely gets to fully glimpse. For decades, the global fascination with the British royal family has focused heavily on the immediate line of succession, the grand state occasions, and the dramatic public fallouts that dominate international headlines. Yet, behind the primary figures who occupy the daily spotlight, an entirely different narrative has been unfolding within the lesser-known corridors of the House of Windsor. This is a story of immense privilege navigating unprecedented reputational ruin, focusing specifically on the lives of Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. As the daughters of the deeply disgraced Prince Andrew, Duke of York, these two women have found themselves walking an incredibly precarious tightrope between historical royal prestige and the modern realities of public exile. For years, the public has watched with growing curiosity, wondering how an institutional collapse of such monumental proportions impacts the next generation. When a royal household is effectively dismantled by scandal, and when the patriarch is stripped of his military titles, official duties, and public standing, what happens to the lifestyle of those who carry his name? The sheer scale of the controversy surrounding their father has naturally led to widespread, intense speculation regarding the true nature of their financial independence and their ability to sustain a life of elite luxury. To understand the gravity of their current situation, one must first appreciate the unique, highly scrutinized environment in which the York sisters were raised, an environment where wealth was not merely an asset, but an absolute, undeniable birthright. If you find these deep investigative look-downs into the hidden mechanics of global dynasties compelling, please consider subscribing to the channel to ensure you never miss our upcoming detailed breakdowns. The questions surrounding their financial longevity are not just about numbers on a balance sheet. They touch upon the very nature of how wealth is preserved across generations when the traditional avenues of royal support are abruptly severed. Ordinary citizens often assume that a departure from official royal duties implies a slide toward a more conventional, self-sufficient lifestyle, but the reality of high society funding is far more shielded and intricate than it appears. The architectural landscape of their daily existence alone provides a powerful testament to this reality, revealing a world where the standard rules of real estate rent and property management simply do not apply. Even as non-working royals who perform no official duties on behalf of the crown, the sisters continue to occupy some of the most exclusive and historically significant addresses in the entire United Kingdom. This persistence of extreme privilege in the face of absolute social exile creates a profound paradox that continues to puzzle royal observers and financial experts alike. How do two individuals completely decoupled from the active mechanisms of the state and the public purse continue to mirror the lifestyles of reigning monarchs? The answers lie buried within a fascinating combination of historical family foresight, highly sophisticated trust structures, and a network of wealthy international associations that have raised serious questions about where royal influence ends and private commercial gain begins. As we begin to peel back the layers of this multi-generational financial tapestry, the sheer resilience of their economic standing becomes undeniable, contrasting sharply with the severe damage inflicted upon their public reputations. The contrast between public perception and private reality has never been sharper than it is today, as the sisters navigate a world that simultaneously judges their family history while accommodating their immense material comfort. This initial exploration into the hidden economy of the York household sets the stage for a much deeper, more troubling look into the specific mechanisms that keep their bank accounts entirely insulated from the consequences of their family history. It raises fundamental questions about accountability, the enduring power of the bloodline, and the secretive financial safety nets that ensure the descendants of royalty remain fundamentally untouchable, regardless of the storm raging outside their palace doors. While public scrutiny has heavily eroded the social standing of the York name, the financial reality behind closed doors tells a completely different story of insulated multi-million-pound assets and strategic estate planning. According to authoritative research by renowned financial expert Norman Baker, author of the detailed institutional critique into the Crown's private wealth, any public assumption that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie would face a sudden economic downfall is fundamentally disconnected from reality. Their private bank accounts remain exceptionally bountiful, fortified by a highly complex framework of multi-generational trust funds expressly engineered by senior members of the royal family to guarantee absolute long-term security. These financial instruments, established primarily by the late Queen Mother during the 1990s and subsequently augmented by Queen Elizabeth II, were deliberately structured using sophisticated wealth preservation methods designed to minimize tax liabilities while maximizing generational liquidity. This elite financial insulation allows both sisters to maintain a standard of living that exists completely outside the economic realities of ordinary citizens, even as they operate entirely as non-working royals, who receive zero direct funding from the public sovereign grant. The physical properties they command provide an undeniable testament to this enduring affluence, with Princess Beatrice occupying a magnificent £3.5 million, six-bedroom farmhouse in the exclusive Cotswolds region, complete with private tennis courts, a luxurious swimming pool, and an independent guest house. Yet, despite possessing such extensive private real estate, Beatrice simultaneously retains an ultra-exclusive two-bedroom apartment within the historic walls of St James's Palace in London, completely rent-free. An arrangement that defies conventional real estate logic for individuals holding no official state roles. In a parallel fashion, Princess Eugenie and her wealthy husband Jack Brooksbank divide their time between a fabulous high-end residential property located in Portugal and the highly desirable Ivy Cottage situated within the prestigious grounds of Kensington Palace, which they also occupy entirely rent-free. This remarkable combination of inherited multi-generational wealth, highly sheltered trust assets, and zero-cost luxury housing ensures that their daily lifestyle remains entirely uninterrupted by the massive reputational crises surrounding their immediate household. However, the true complexity of their financial endurance extends far beyond these traditional family-backed inheritance structures, moving into a much more controversial territory of private business dealings and international commercial associations. Norman Baker highlights that while individuals cannot choose their parents, they possess a distinct choice in whether to follow them down the same problematic financial tracks, a boundary that has occasionally appeared blurred within the York family history. Prince Andrew was notoriously keen on introducing his daughters to his highly controversial international network of contacts when they were still at a very impressionable age. This calculated introduction into a world of hyper-wealthy, compromised individuals began early, notably manifesting at Princess Beatrice's 18th birthday celebration held at Windsor Castle, where she was introduced to the widely condemned financier Jeffrey Epstein, his primary associate Ghislaine Maxwell, and the convicted Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. These early exposures to her father's problematic social circle quickly translated into tangible, highly questionable material transactions as the sisters entered adulthood, establishing a pattern of receiving extraordinary gifts from figures facing severe legal scrutiny. For her 21st birthday in 2009, Princess Beatrice was presented with an £18,000 diamond necklace by Tarek Kaituni, a convicted Libyan gunrunner and longtime associate of Prince Andrew, who would later appear as a prominent guest at Princess Eugenie's royal wedding after allegedly contributing £350,000 toward the event's overall costs. The financial anomalies only intensified over the years, as evidenced by Princess Eugenie receiving £10,000 from the Turk businessman Selman Turk via his corporate entity Alphabet Capital, followed immediately the next day by a direct personal birthday gift of £15,000, delivered 5 full months ahead of her actual birthday. This same controversial businessman, who would subsequently face imprisonment for contempt of court, also directed a staggering £750,000 as a wedding gift intended for Princess Beatrice, a massive sum that was only returned after its highly suspicious origin came under intense legal investigation. Furthermore, both daughters have frequently engaged in numerous lavish overseas journeys to highly problematic international regimes, often returning home with incredibly expensive, undisclosed jewelry, raising persistent questions about the exact nature of the influence being bought or traded. Alongside these highly scrutinized external injections of capital, both sisters have attempted to establish independent professional careers, though these ventures have similarly drawn sharp criticism regarding their actual operational substance and workload. Beatrice founded her own private corporate entity named BYEQ, an acronym for Beatrice York Emotional Quotient, which remarkably generated approximately £500,000 in 2024, despite operating a rudimentary 3-page website with a single director and absolutely 0 employees. Meanwhile, Princess Eugenie secured a highly coveted director position at the prestigious Mayfair Contemporary Art Gallery, Hauser and Wirth, an appointment that critics have noted appears remarkably flexible, given that she famously managed to take 25 full days of holiday within her very first 10 weeks of employment. Despite the profound public outrage and the legal storms that have permanently dismantled their father's public life, the York sisters continue to move seamlessly through the highest echelons of international high society, completely unaffected by the economic anxieties facing the public. Their lives remain a masterclass in institutional wealth preservation, showing how ancient privilege and modern capital combine to create an absolute shield against the consequences of historic family ruin. To truly comprehend the resilience of this financial empire, one must examine the profound historical and systemic context that underpins the lives of Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Born into the ultimate tier of global aristocracy during the late 1980s, the York sisters were never intended to face the financial anxieties of the modern world. Their upbringing was managed by a complex institutional machinery designed to guarantee absolute economic security regardless of public opinion or personal familial scandals. The fundamental architecture of their wealth traces back directly to the late Queen Mother, Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, who recognized decades ago that the junior branches of the royal family would require independent, robust financial vehicles to sustain their status across generations. By establishing highly secretive, legally armored trust structures in the 1990s, she ensured that vast sums of capital could bypass standard inheritance taxation and remain entirely shielded from public scrutiny or state intervention. This grand institutional foresight was further reinforced by Queen Elizabeth II, who consistently managed her family's private portfolios to guarantee that her grandchildren, particularly those from non-working lineages, would never find themselves short of liquid assets. This multi-layered financial defense system explains why, even as their father Prince Andrew was systematically stripped of his public duties, military patronages, and royal honors following the global fallout of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, his daughters remained entirely untouched by the fiscal wreckage. The institutional shield created for them has functioned perfectly, allowing both women to navigate the social exile of their household without experiencing a single day of material compromise. The broader significance of their situation lies in what it reveals about the permanent nature of dynastic wealth, demonstrating that for the highest echelons of society, accountability rarely carries financial consequences. While ordinary families suffer immediate economic devastation when a primary earner faces legal or professional ruin, the mechanics of the crown ensure that the descendants of monarchs remain permanently insulated within a parallel economic reality. This absolute separation between public reputational damage and private financial comfort was starkly demonstrated recently by the sisters' continued highly visible participation in elite global events. Far from retreating from the public eye out of shame or financial necessity, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have continued to lead lives characterized by effortless, high-end leisure and international luxury travel. Earlier this year, Princess Beatrice traveled to Italy to attend a milestone 40th birthday celebration for Lauren De Niro Piffer, the prominent founder of Juliet Wine. The event, held at the ultra-exclusive La Posta Vecchia Hotel in Palo Laziale, where rooms cost an astonishing £768 per night, saw the princess dancing on tables, enjoying fine dining and drinking premium wines with international socialites. Shortly after this lavish Italian holiday, both Beatrice and Eugenie, accompanied by their respective multi-millionaire husbands Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi and Jack Brooksbank, attended the high-profile wedding of Peter Phillips. These public appearances serve as a powerful declaration of their social endurance, sending a clear signal to the world that their position within the global elite remains entirely secure, despite the permanent stains on their parents' reputations. The backgrounds of their spouses further highlight this deliberate consolidation of private wealth and high society influence. Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi, descended from Italian nobility and the son of an Olympic skier, is himself a highly successful real estate tycoon and the chief executive of a luxury property development consultancy. His marriage to Beatrice in 2020 effectively fused ancient royal prestige with immense modern commercial capital, creating a formidable financial alliance that completely independent of the British taxpayer. Similarly, Jack Brooksbank, who married Eugenie in 2018, comes from a distinguished line of baronets and has successfully transitioned from managing elite hospitality brands to working with highly lucrative international property developments, specifically overseeing ultra-exclusive residential communities in Portugal. These marriages have provided the sisters with an entirely separate, private foundation of immense wealth, making any reliance on public funding completely unnecessary and further insulating them from institutional pressures. The enduring financial power of the York household stands as a remarkable testament to the efficacy of traditional wealth preservation methods, showcasing how private trusts, strategic real estate holdings, and wealthy international networks can successfully withstand the most severe reputational crises of the modern era. Critics like Norman Baker continue to argue that such extreme privileges, particularly the enjoyment of rent-free palace apartments by non-working individuals, represent an archaic and unfair anomaly in contemporary society.